Monsieur le Conseiller fédéral, sehr geehrte Frau Nationalrätin, sehr geehrter Herr Nationalrat, egregio consigliere di Stato, dear Hans-Ulrich Obrist, our curator of the Swiss Pavilion, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests. I'm very happy to be here today with you as director of the Swiss Arts Council and to welcome you to the official opening of the Swiss Pavilion 2014. I gather that in many opening speeches and welcoming notes today, somebody will state there are too many people to be thanked for their contributions. In the run-up to this pavilion today, I felt this is also true for the Swiss Pavilion. But in this case, it's not only true, it's a central element of the concept of the Swiss Pavilion 2014. Hans-Ulrich Obrist, nominated by the independent Biennale jury as curator of the Swiss Pavilion, has not only developed a mesmerizing project which proposes the importance of engaging into the oeuvre of two of the most visionary architectural thinkers of the 20th century, Lucius Burckhardt, the Swiss sociologist, and the architect and planner of the never-realized Fun Palace, Cedric Price. But as a truly multidisciplinary thinker, as a restless traveler, and a prolific interviewer in contact permanently with countless artists, architects, and researchers all over the world, Hans-Ulrich Obrist has also brought his incredible global network in the best imaginable way into this project. Furthermore, from next week on, there will be a summer academy with universities from all over the world in the Swiss Pavilion, which will add to the constant flux of this unique and outstanding project. During my visit to the Swiss Pavilion this afternoon, I was not only involved in one, but in many dialogues about Price and Burckhardt, and suddenly finding myself amidst of a global discourse. I therefore hesitate to speak of this project as an exhibition. It's more a kind of dramaturgy, a kind of constantly developing, rotating display of knowledge with artworks complementing it in the most intriguing way. It's great to see that these multiple discourses will go on for many weeks and will contribute to building new knowledge on space and archives. Besides the pavilion here, there is also a second venue for the Swiss presence in Venice. For the third edition of the Salon Suisse in the Palazzo Trevisan, the Zurich-based architects and urbanists Hiromi Hosoya and Markus Schäfer will present a program entitled The Next 100 Years, Scenarios for an Alpine City, where speakers from all around the world will share their ideas on urbanization and urban development. This will go on various weekends till November and even includes certain Swiss subjects like the Zweitwohnung thematic. The Palazzo will also host 3 guests with their own program. The ETH of Zurich with the Academy of Architecture in Mendrisio with their Gotthard project, the Zurich Arts University with their SET Club, and our neighbor country Liechtenstein with their program Once Upon a Time in Liechtenstein, which I personally think is really nice to have our neighbors in the Salon Suisse. Was ich einleitend gesagt habe, ist dieses Projekt mit so unzähligen Menschen und Institutionen weltweit vernetzt, dass es für mich schlichtweg unmöglich ist, an dieser Stelle alle zu verdanken. Ich bitte daher um Nachsicht, dass ich mich im Folgenden sehr kurz halten werde. Unser ganz großer Dank geht an Hans-Ulrich Obrist, der sich mit unglaublichem Engagement und Energie diesem Projekt gewidmet hat. Ebenso geht der Dank an Lorenza Baroncelli, Thank you, Lorenza. The scientific director, die in enger Zusammenarbeit mit Hans-Ulrich Obrist dieses Projekt entwickelt hat. You developed it together with him. Sowie den 3 Co-Kuratoren Jacques Herzog, Pierre Demeurant und Mirka Zardini. Ganz speziell danke ich den Hauptsponsoren des Pavillons, die Luma Stiftung von Meyer Hoffmann und die Steher Stiftung sowie Agnes B. für T-Shirts und die gelben Taschen, Embru und Vitra für die Möbel im Pavillon und ein ganz spezieller Dank geht an Laufen Bathrooms, die den Salon Suisse seit Anbeginn immer unterstützt haben. Ihnen allen vielen Dank. Und nicht zuletzt möchte ich ein von Herzen Dankeschön an unser Biennale-Team aussprechen für die große und auch großartige Arbeit, die sie in den letzten Monaten geleistet haben, leisten mussten, damit dieses Projekt zustande kommen konnte. Mariam Burki, Leiterin Head of Visual Arts, Sandy Paucic, Head of the Project, und Rachele Giudici, die Projektkoordinatorin. International exchange is a big concept, but it's happening to its best here, today, and in the future at the Swiss Pavilion. I'm therefore very happy to pass on the word to Hans-Ulrich Obrist, the creator of the Swiss Pavilion.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and fellow travelers, thank you, Andrew Holland, so much for your kind words. And I have to firstly say what a great honor it was and it is to be invited by Pro Helvetia to curate the Swiss Pavilion for the 2014 Venice Architecture Biennale and offer the unique opportunity to bring together artists, architects here in the Giardini. Many, many thanks, of course, go to all the artists, go to all the teams, to Mariam Burki, to Sandy Paucic, Rachele Giudici, the amazing Biennale team. And of course, a special applause here for the one and only Lorenza Baroncelli. Because it's really been such a close collaboration, a ping pong, in which we developed this pavilion. Somehow, the pavilion reveals the legacy of 2 visionary thinkers and serial inventors, Lucius Burckhardt and Cedric Price. There is a vital and urgent need, I felt. Just over a decade after they passed away, they both coincidentally died in 2003, to revisit these important figures of the 20th century, to create a conversation between them, and to see also how their ideas have become more relevant over time, providing the toolbox for tomorrow. When Rem Koolhaas suggested as a theme for the pavilion to revisit such moments from the 20th century, he felt important to bring Lucius and Cedric together in the Swiss Pavilion. Lucius Burckhardt, born in 1925, was a Swiss political economist. He was a sociologist, an architectural thinker, a planning theorist. He was an influential and radical teacher and also invented strollology, the science of going on a walk. Cedric Price, born in 1934 in Staffordshire in England, explored architecture's potential to nurture change, intellectual growth, and also social development. He referred to himself as an anti-architect. One of his most famous projects is his unrealized Fun Palace, a radical experimental model of a participatory institution. So we have created for the next 6 months in the Swiss Pavilion, Lucius Burckhardt and Cedric Price, a stroll through a fun palace. When I thought about this the first phone call I made was to Jacques Herzog and Pierre Demeurant. When I was a teenager growing up in Switzerland, and I was 19 years old, they were the first architects I ever met in my life. And it's in this first conversation, incredibly inspiring and for me life-changing conversation, that they told me about Lucius Burckhardt. So we discussed with Jacques and Pierre that they would co-curate the Lucius Burckhardt part and develop here a display feature, a way to exhibit these 2 archives. We then contacted the CCA in Canada, Mirko Zardini, and started to think about how to present in co-curatorship with Mirko this archive of the CCA. We had also many, many conversations with Eleanor Bron, longest friend of Cedric Price, and Samantha Hardingham, who writes the Catalogue Raisonné, and together with them all developed this project. It was somehow clear with Lorenza when we discussed and with Sandy and Marianne somehow that we had to make this architect alive, to bring this architect alive. And as always in my project, it's infinite conversations with artists. So we started a dialogue with Tino Segal, Dominique Gonzalez-Förster, Philippe Pareno, Liam Gillick, and also the scholar Dorothea von Hantelmann, and started to meet regularly in Basel and elsewhere with Herzog de Meuron, the architects. And it's out of this idea that really the project grew. The idea of Philippe Pareno's blinds, which would actually make the space dark and light, and it could always change. The project of a choreography, which Tino Segal and Assad Raza developed. The project also, of course, of the archive, which will permanently be seen differently. And there the idea of the trolleys came about. Herzog de Meuron's idea that permanently trolleys would shoot into the space and one could discover in conversation actually the archive as a living archive. The idea came about in terms of this choreography with Tino and Assad, who had, and Dominique Gonzalez-Förster, who did the neon at the entrance, and Liam Gillick, who did the new sign for the Swiss Pavilion, the Palazzo F. They were also very instrumental in this conversation to work with students. And we're very grateful to Philipp Ursprung and the ETH. We will have more than 60 ETH students here throughout the next 6 months who will every day work in the pavilion, research, and then transmit this research to the visitors, have conversations with the visitors. Conversations also with Atelier Bauau, the Japanese architects. It felt important in terms of the Fan Palace that it would be possible to experience this stroll here, high and low, that one could go into the space but also to the roof. So Atelier Bauau did an homage to the aviary of Cedric Price. And as you can see, the birds actually flying out of the aviary. There is no roof. We can listen to the birds stand in the aviary and think about Cedric. The idea came then, many layers, of a summer school. So we invited Stefano Boeri, the great actually transmitter, architect, educator, inventor of new institutions, to develop here with us a dialogue with many, many architecture schools all over the world. And of course, always and always the dialogue with Rem Koolhaas, with whom we've worked on so many projects before. And so with Rem, we were thinking how we can connect the Swiss pavilion, not only to other pavilions, but also to his Biennale. So we have many collaborations with the Arsenale, and for those of you who will visit Rem's extraordinary exhibition in the Central Pavilion and in the Arsenale, you will see that he injected into the Arsenale in an almost Fan Palace kind of way, smaller stages and bigger stages. The idea of Cedric and Lucius has so much to do also with the dialogue between art and architecture. So we invited artists, Rika Tiravanisha, Ku Jong-ah, Dan Graham in his first Architecture Biennale ever, Olafur Eliasson, Carsten Höller, Elisabeth Dillon, and many others to do homages here. And all of these works are part of the program. They are activated over time. Joseph Grima brought the Grima machine. It's a publishing machine where real-time digital content is produced. As you will see, it has only just begun. It's not like one of these laboratories which only functions during the opening days. The idea is really that it's sustained over 6 months, and everything, there will be many, every day over the next 6 months, there will be many surprises in the Swiss Pavilion. Actually, as you said in the introduction, we are deeply grateful, of course, to our partners, to the Luma Foundation. Many, many thanks to Maya Hoffmann. There is such an intense dialogue, actually, also to the exhibition which happens at the moment in Arles at the Luma Foundation. Many, many thanks go to the Steo Foundation, because with the Steo Foundation it became possible to bring the ETH students from Zurich to Venice. Many, many thanks go to Agnes B. and of course to all our partners. As would say Douglas Gordon, it has only just begun. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Hans-Ulrich Obrist. Und ich möchte nun den Herrn Bundesrat Alain Berset begrüßen, der gleich das Wort ergreifen wird. Und bitten, ans Podium zu kommen.
Monsieur le conseiller fédéral, Madame la conseillère nationale, Monsieur le conseiller national, Monsieur le conseiller aux États, Mesdames et Messieurs, les architectes ont un sens aigu de la structure et de l'esthétique. Pas un défaut de construction ne leur échappe, même s'il est caché. Et donc, pour moi, je dois vous dire, discourir aujourd'hui devant une assemblée d'architectes, ce n'est pas quelque chose d'aisé. Il faut naturellement être un peu fonctionnel, il faut pas trop d'aspérité, pas trop de fioritures, matériel de bonne qualité, mais pas trop précieux non plus, parce qu'après tout, tous les mots ne viennent pas de Carrare. Et j'ai donc choisi de faire simple, de vous dire le plaisir, le bonheur pour moi d'être aujourd'hui avec vous ici, aujourd'hui, en ces merveilleux giardini dans lesquels j'aime me promener avec les yeux. Lucius Burckhardt, lui, dont le travail est exposé cette année au pavillon suisse, disait plutôt « je réfléchis avec mes pieds ». Et dans sa volonté de bousculer, de repenser l'architecture, Lucius Burckhardt, sociologue, théoricien de la planification, préconisait la balade en milieu urbain pour mieux découvrir tous les infimes petits rouages qui font la mécanique des villes. Et il en a d'ailleurs fait une science, la promenadologie, se promener avec les yeux, réfléchir avec les pieds, c'est arpenter le monde qui nous entoure en se souciant des détails qui le composent. Avec cette approche, il nous rappelle le poète et écrivain français Guy Debord et sa théorie de la dérive, qui prétendait saisir l'esprit de la ville par le biais de la marche et d'une exploration sensorielle. Et c'est bien cet esprit de la ville que Lucius Burckhardt entendait inculquer à ses élèves architectes de l'école polytechnique fédérale de Zurich, un peu comme si c'était la ville qui devait construire ses architectes, bien plus que le contraire. La promenadologie est donc une invitation à sortir de chez soi, à s'en aller percer les mystères de l'urbanisme. Et bon, dans le même temps, ce qui fait aussi que ça m'intéresse, c'est un des particularismes politiques helvétiques. C'est évidemment intéressant aussi en tant que ministre de la Santé. La promenadologie est aussi une incitation à se maintenir en forme et à maintenir bas les coûts de la santé publique. Le regard décalé, le regard visionnaire que Lucius Burckhardt posait sur l'architecture s'explique par ses connaissances interdisciplinaires et notamment ses formations d'économiste et de sociologue. Et d'ailleurs, dans un ouvrage, La dimension cachée, l'Américain Edward Hall regrettait que psychologues, anthropologues ou ethnologues ne fassent pas partie des commissions d'urbanisme en tant que membres permanents. Toute construction urbaine nécessiterait d'abord une connaissance complète de ses habitants et surtout de leur culture, cette réalité cachée qui échappe à notre contrôle mais n'en constitue pas moins la trame de l'existence humaine. Pour le dire autrement, pour ma part, je dirais plus prosaïquement que le meilleur des ciments, c'est du sable et de l'eau mélangés à de la culture. L'architecture se situe d'ailleurs à la croisée des chemins de culture. Il n'est point d'université, il n'y a pas de musée non plus, il n'y a pas de bibliothèque sans un architecte. Un architecte comme pouvait l'être Cédric Price, qui lui n'était pas suisse mais anglais, et qui concevait l'architecture comme un laboratoire à imaginer un palais des divertissements, soit une grande maison de la culture dont les ossatures intérieures mobiles redessinaient à l'infini les espaces au gré des besoins de ses occupants. Et là encore, l'architecture est au service de la culture. Cédric Price est associé au projet présenté au Pavillon suisse dans le cadre de cette biennale en cette année 2014. Et pour la Suisse, 2014 est une date particulière qui voit célébrer les 50 ans de son exposition nationale Expo 64, contemporaine des idées de Price et de Burckhardt, et qui fut également un laboratoire d'architecture en cette période de formidable croissance économique d'après-guerre. Lucius Burckhardt aurait même voulu, en 1964 à Lausanne, y construire une véritable cité moderne. Mais alors le syndic de Lausanne, à l'époque, n'en voulut point. Il est ensuite allé au Conseil fédéral, ami de l'architecture, accepté mes tardives mais sincères excuses pour ce manque de vision. Manque de vision qui, faut-il le souligner, fut exprimé à une époque où la loi sur l'aménagement du territoire n'existait pas encore. Si nos architectes ont parfois pu souffrir d'un manque de vision des autorités suisses, ils n'ont en revanche jamais eu à se plaindre d'un manque de visibilité dans le reste du monde. Leur génie a su transfigurer tant de paysages urbains. On peut penser évidemment au Corbusier, à sa cité radieuse, à Marseille, ou à son Capitole de Chandigarh, à Mario Botta, sa cathédrale d'Evry, ou encore évidemment Herzog et de Meuron à leur nid olympique de Pékin, dans lequel des émules de Lucius Burckhardt ont réussi à se promener en moins de 10 secondes. Signore e signori, Jacques Herzog e Pierre de Meuron, che sono stati allievi di Lucius Burckhardt, hanno accettato di collaborare al progetto Price di Burckhardt. Tengo a ringraziare la giuria del Biennale Pro Helvetia per la scelta e il sostegno accordati a questo progetto e al suo ingegnoso ideatore Hans Ulrich Obrist. Un progetto formativo poiché vi saranno impartiti corsi di architettura. Questa Università dei Giardini contribuirà, spero, a creare nuove specie di modine che fioranno nelle nostre città. Forse vi state chiedendo che cosa sono le modine. In Svizzera chiamiamo così le antenne di legno che servono a segnalare pubblicamente la volumetria di un edificio che si intende costruire. Meine Damen und Herren, die Schweizer Architektur ist Weltspitze und ein zentrales Kulturgut für unser Land. Eine hohe Baukultur schafft attraktiven Lebensraum und stärkt unseren Zusammenhalt, vor allem in urbanen Gebieten. Und eine hohe Baukultur ist vereinbar mit den Ansprüchen, vor die uns die Energiewende stellt. Vergangenheit und Zukunft im gegenwärtigen Bauen verbinden. Dieses Ziel verfolgt der Bundesrat in der Baukultur. Sie erhält in der nächsten Kulturbotschaft endlich den hier zustehenden Platz. Alle relevanten Bundesämter sollen gemeinsam eine Strategie für die Stärkung der Baukultur in der Schweiz erarbeiten. Denn es ist klar, wir wollen weiterhin zeigen, dass die Schweizer Architektur einen eigenen Pavillon in diesen wunderbaren Giardini verdient. Unsere Zweitwohnung in Venedig. Meine Damen und Herren, ich lade Sie ein auf einen Spaziergang durch die Giardini. Dabei tauchen Sie ein in die Welt von Cédric Price und Lucius Burckhardt. Burckhardt, ein Mann mit Humor, hätte sich wohl amüsiert beim Gedanken, dass der Spaziergang hier in Venedig stattfindet. Ausgerechnet in der weltweit einzigen Stadt, in der man nicht spazieren, sondern eigentlich schwimmen müsste. Viel Vergnügen auf Ihren Spaziergang und vielen Dank für die Aufmerksamkeit.
So, thank you very much for coming. The program is not completely finished for today. The program we had all day long. The ones who have been attending, you've seen we had this marathon, and our opening is also going to be special in that sense. Our talks are going to continue until the closing of the Giardini. Today, especially, we had Dorothea von Hantelmann intervening during the whole day, which I also find interesting because this is kind of a scientific accompaniment of the entire show, and you will see more of this after the aperitif, which is now served here. So please join us. We are very many people, so maybe some take a drink first, others enter the pavilion. Enjoy the evening. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, thank you very much to the Swiss Embassy in Rome for the apéro. The pavilion is open.